Welcome back to 3 Martini Launch plays Kerbal Space Program. I am 3 in Martini Launch and I am playing Kerbal Space Program. If you remember a few weeks ago, I complained that the Kraken had eaten my Eve mission. Well, I was able to put together another Eve mission. I think this one might be a little better. Here's just an overview of the ship. We'll go back up to the top there in a second. There you go, back to those mainsails. Anyways, let's do a little breakdown. We got a lot going on. We got a probe lander. It's going to land on the surface of Eve. It's got 3 of each science module there, so it can do high atmosphere, low atmosphere, and surface. There's a popular belief that there are 2 surface biomes on Eve, but my understanding is that's not true. It will report 2 different ones, but they count as the same biome. Anyways, this one's running on nuclear power. I got the drogue chute there to slow it down. So I had a lot of probes bust up on Eve because I didn't have a drogue chute. So this will hopefully land okay. And I designed this spaceship a long time ago, and I don't know what my motivation here was having this decoupler, whatever, this docking bay and a decoupler here. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. And then beneath that, we've got a little lander. This one's going to land on Gilly. Get the surface samples off of that, and then we've got the delivery return vehicle. Kind of a Apollo-esque a little bit, I guess, except for this giant probe up the top. And it's got a nuclear engine, and this thing pusher here is going to get it out to Eve, and then this gets it into Kerbin orbit. And I'm looking at this, and I think this is super overkill, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out, because you really only need 1,000 delta V to get to Eve, and this thing right here is the stage number 3, which is telling me I've got like 3,300 meters per second delta V. Anyways, let's get this puppy onto the launch bay, and then we'll see how much extra fuel I do have. And here we are on the launch pad. Let's see, pretty routine launch. This one was again the Eve expedition, and it's going up and up and up. There we go, doing that gravity turn there. Release some more stages. I probably should have cut this down just a little bit more. And getting up, and I don't know if I'm going to 100,000, 125. Looks like 125. Go ahead and circularize that orbit. And there we are. And let's see, get rid of that lift stage, and go ahead and recycle that back into Kerbin's atmosphere. Whoa, watch out. Okay, that was pretty close. And there it goes. And go ahead and set up an ejection burn to Eve. And go ahead and let's execute the burn. Come on, there we go, burning towards Eve. And it looks like we got some inclination adjustment going on there as well. Back to the Jupiter science mission, bringing that sweet science back to Kerbin. I'm thinking just leaving Jool's sphere of influence there, and go ahead and line up that encounter with Kerbin. Go ahead and we'll get something going on there eventually, I'm sure. And back to the Eve expedition, and it's gonna go ahead and come and do Eve's sphere of influence, get some science going on, and we aero brake into Eve's orbit, going through Eve's atmosphere. There we go, bringing that apoapsis down, bring it down, and whoops, and we got release the probe. That one's gonna land on Eve's surface and transmit a bunch of science back to Kerbin. And here it is, coming in hot. Watch out there. And whoop. Okay, yeah. Well, it's still coming in. And let's go ahead and throw a chute. No landing gear. Okay, let's do the landing gear, and then we throw a chute. Okay, we're still, what are we at? 4,000, 4 kilometers almost. Get the main chutes deployed, and coming in kind of slow, 2.8 meters per second. And safe landing on the surface of Eve. It was just a random luck that I happened to land on dry land. That was the first attempt there. And then we go ahead and set up a maneuver node. First, I normalize the inclination, and then we go ahead and set up a intercept with Gilly. And there's that going on. Yep, now we're in Gilly's sphere of influence. We'll get some, actually I'm not getting science because we're going pretty fast relative to Gilly. We need to get into an orbit. And there I go, circularizing at about 25 kilometers. And we'll transfer some crew from the delivery return vehicle into the highly overpowered lander. Go ahead and get those guys up there. Separate the lander from the main part of the ship. Drop down my periapsis to something much closer to the surface, and eventually land on the surface of Gilly. And kind of bounce. I don't know if you ever landed on Gilly before, but the spaceship doesn't really land. It just kind of bounces along the surface for a while and get out. I have to use the down rockets to actually get down onto the ground. The gravity is so low. And can get some surface samples and whatnot. And there's a lander bouncing around. And we take off in the dark. That's very exciting. And I just shoot straight for the ship, straight for the main ship in orbit. And eventually rendezvous and dock. There's the docking going on. And I'm sure I'll pull that landing gear in at some point. Go ahead and transfer the crew back from the lander into the DRV. I think I transferred the fuel out as well. Go ahead and eject the lander, and I had not yet realized at this point that all that science is still sitting on the lander. I'd taken it out of the Science Junior and the canisters and the temperature thing, but I left it all in the capsule and crashed it back onto the surface of Gilly. So it was like 1,000 science that I just threw away there, which is more than half the science I wound up getting from this mission. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get back into Eve's orbit, and then from there, eject from Eve's orbit to Kerbin's sphere of influence. And here we are coming into Kerbin, and I ran into some confusion here. I cut. No, it wasn't on this one. It was the Jool mission. I'll talk to that when we get there. And there we go. There's the only part that's actually gonna land. And I did get the rest of the science into the capsule, but all the Gilly science is gone. So there we go. Go ahead and splash down there on Kerbin. And 720 science. Like I said, I threw away. And you're gonna hear a knock here. My timer just went out. I threw away like 1,000 science on Gilly. We'll get ready for a kerplunk. I hope that wasn't too bad. Anyways, we'll switch back to the Eeloo mission. And this was the probe that landed on the surface of Eeloo a couple episodes back. It's coming back into Kerbin's sphere of influence. And this one I don't have to worry about taking the science out of, because there's nobody on it and the whole thing is going to land. A little jerky. I hope that renders out. And here we go, catching on fire. That's pretty exciting. And launch out that drogue chute. There we go. And get the main chutes out. And it looks kind of dark in there, and I'm landing on the mountains, and I've had bad luck landing on the side of a mountain, so I go ahead and use the rocket engine there to slow me down as much as possible. I'm landing about 2.5 meters per second, but nothing to worry about. There's a flat spot there in the valley. Landed safely and pulled 1,515 science from Eeloo, and that's not even surface samples because there was nobody there to take them. Back to the Jool science mission, and it'll be coming into Kerbin influence as well. This is the real piece de resistance here. This has got science from all of the bodies in the Jool system, including surface samples from Pole and Bop, and maybe was it Tylo or Vol, the one that was easy to land on. And here we come, dropping down. This is going to be very exciting. How much science did I get from this mission? And splash down safely there on surface of Kerbin. Go ahead and recover, and let's take a look. Oh, 9,778 signs. Yeah, that's got to be a record for a for a single mission. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that amount of signs. So let's get into the research and development building and see what I spent it on. All right, so let's get into the R&D thing, and let's see what we got going on. Well, there's only the four things, 13,337 science, and each of these only costs 1,000, and these are all for mods that I have. Well, let's go ahead and pick up. I don't know if don't think anything else is gonna present itself. I think I finished. Okay, well, the tech tree is finished, and I still have more than 9,000 science left. But yes, the tech tree is finished, but we still got, I think it was Common Kerbin stuck around Dres's orbit. Let's see if I can find, there's Duna surface, satellite Dres, mission 8J. We've got poor old Common Kerbin stuck at here. I've still got him to bring home. So I think we're going to have one more episode in this series. Now you may have noticed that I passed up the Dres to Kerbin transfer window. I didn't, or rather Kerbin to Dres. I was going to send some fuel out there to fill this guy up, because he's if he had more fuel, he'd be able to make it home. But there's been budget cuts there at KSP, and they said they're not going to send any more fuel out, and they came up with an alternate plan of rescue. Well, it doesn't have enough fuel to get to Kerbin. There is an abandoned space station in Lathe orbit around Jool, and we think it might just have enough fuel to get to Jool. So we'll go ahead and chronicle Common Kerbin's odysseys in the next episode. In the meantime, please keep those cards and letters coming. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't like it anyways. Share it with your friends. Have a good time with it. And good night, everybody. And you too, Mrs. Miller.